Hello friends, 'tis me, the Fragmeister, J Dizzle. What's happening? Today's video is a completely unscripted live commentary. It's just me sat in front of my PC talking to Sony Vegas. I'm just talking to my monitor, guys. And sometimes guys, these live commentaries, they can go a bit weird because I just end up saying really crazy stuff that doesn't really make much sense. But I wanted to talk today, or today's topic, let's say, is zombie survival games. Why is that today's topic? Well, as you may know, we're getting very close to the early access release date of H1Z1, which is a brand new open world zombie survival game. I think it's actually January the 15th that's coming out for early access. And the game itself is free to play, but you can pay, I think it's $20 to buy into the early access so you can play it. And it got me thinking, like, there's just so many zombie survival games now. After the success, obviously it was a massive success of DayZ, all these copycats came along, and I'm sure some of them weren't copycats. I'm sure lots of people have had the idea to build a zombie survival game, but I think DayZ was really the catalyst that showed developers and publishers that, hey, people really want to play in open world zombie survival games. And now we've got stuff like 7 Days to Die, DayZ, of course, H1Z1, Miscreated, State of Decay. Have I said State of Decay? No, I haven't said State of Decay. And of course, like Infestation, Zombie Stories, whatever the fuck it's called. The War Z, the one that used to be called the War Z, that one, yeah. So there's lots of zombie survival games coming out, and I'm sure there's plenty coming out that still just haven't been announced yet. And it got me thinking, like, is this just a fad within gaming? Let's compare it to something like World War II. There was a time period when, like, Medal of Honor, Company of Heroes, Call of Duty were around, and there was just so many World War II games for, like, I don't know, 4 years or 5 years, and then they just stopped. And do you think this is going to be the same for the zombie survival games? Have they sort of outstayed their welcome a little bit? I don't know. I still think that there could be a perfect zombie survival game, and that could in fact be H1Z1, because I've been following along with it a little bit, and it looks okay. Like, I'm quietly optimistic about it. And if you watch some of their videos or like their E3 presentations and Twitch streams, you'll see that a lot of stuff they're doing is actually pretty cool. And the most important thing for me, anyways, after playing so many hours of DayZ, is that the game actually looks like it works really well in terms of performance. Like, it's running on the PlanetSide 2 engine, I think, which of course is very well optimized, and it looks like it works, which is good. Obviously, DayZ, even DayZ standalone, still, I can't get more than 20 frames per second in a town. And there's just lag all the time and glitches and FPS stutters, and it makes me really, really sad. It makes me sad. It makes me sad that that's never really been fixed. And apparently they are actually working on a new renderer, like a version of the renderer for the DayZ engine or something like that, which is supposedly going to fix all the performance issues. But I don't know if they've announced like a release date for that, because obviously DayZ itself is still in early access. But I wanted to talk a bit about what makes these sort of survival games so good and why you keep going back to them, why you keep going back to playing them. Now, I want to talk about the first ever time I played DayZ. I didn't know much about it. All I'd seen was that one video where the guy is running through the field. I think it's like north of Electro, and there's like 12 other people with him, and they're all friendly. They've only got like revolvers, and they're all running away from a group of zombies, and then they start getting picked off one by one. It's great. And then I saw another video with like a hold-up outside a barn. The guy was like, "Oh, we got you surrounded," and I was like, "Holy crap! This looks really cool. This is like some emergent player gameplay, role play. It looked really fun." So I installed Arma 2. And I got the mod and I loaded it up, and the first ever time I played it was like 2 AM in the morning in the UK, and I loaded a server. It was absolutely pitch black, like DayZ pitch black. Hadn't done any graphics settings. I didn't know how to optimize anything, so it looked pretty good. It was pitch black, and I think I was in Chernogorsk, somewhere, and I didn't realize at the time that I could have a map on the other monitor, for example. So I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what I was doing, and I found some railway tracks. And within a couple of minutes, I was assaulted by a horde of zombies and died. And I remember at the time, I just figured out how to turn my flashlight on, and I turned it on, and right in front of me on the rail track was a zombie, like mid-attack animation, and it genuinely scared me. Like, it made me jump. It was like a horror game scare. And then I was hooked. I was like, holy crap, this is really fun. And then I played it some more and figured out how to get loot and where to get loot. And then I remember getting my first player kill. And that was so good. And it was a cheap kill. It was really cheap. It was just a guy. He was in the shop or the store on the west side of Chernogorsk, and he was just in the store just getting some loot, and I just walked up to him and I just shot him in the back of the head with a pistol. I think it was an M1911, and I was like, there we go. That's my first player kill. And it felt so good, and I looted his body, got his stuff, and I was away, and I probably got shot within the next 5 minutes. And I just remember the feeling of being with the squad, like maybe you're with three mates or something, and you're going up towards Starry Sabor, and then all of a sudden, on the hill, like 400 meters away, you spot 3 other players, and it's a squad of players, and you're like, oh shit, player, go prone, and you all go prone and try and get some cover, and then you know that the next 20 minutes is just going to be really intense, and one of you, maybe all of you, you're not going to make it out alive. Something's going to go down, and really, when you started playing DayZ back in those early days of the mod, there was just something about it. Like, it was just so intense. It just got your heart racing, and you really, really cared for your character. You were like, well, I've spent the entire day gearing up this character. I've just got a Mosin or something, or I've just found an M4, and I've got 2 magazines. I'm feeling pretty confident about my character. I've managed to stock up on a little bit of food. You really care about your character. You're like, I don't want to die, and it gets your heart pounding. Then you have like an epic shootout, and you either come out victorious or you come out a loser. And most of the time, if you come out victorious, you'll end up with a broken leg, and you'll have to crawl to get some morphine anyway, or wait till your friend logs in so he can come and give you some morphine. And that was incredible. Like those first few months of DayZ, that was like a really unique experience for me. It was so different to everything else that I personally had played in the past. But after about maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and all the bugs come out and the performance issues don't improve, and it's so clunky. And I know some people do like the clunkiness of the game because it adds to the immersion, I guess, of getting a gun out from your backpack or getting a bandage out or something. But after a couple of years and everyone just shoots on sight, I just had no desire to play it. And after a while, one thing that really, really got to me was how hard it is to just play with your friends. And I know that DayZ and games like DayZ and H1Z1 are they're hardcore. I hate using that word, but they're like a hardcore shooter. Like, you don't get anything handed to you, really. You've got to work for stuff. But I hate the fact that if I want to play DayZ with just 2 of my friends and we join a new server and we spawn on opposite sides of the map, we have to spend half an hour, sometimes even 45 minutes to just meet up with each other. And that really started to get to me after a while, because I was like, well, gaming should be about playing with your friends. Like, that's one of the best parts about multiplayer games. It's the community aspect of it. It's having fun with your mates. It's teaming up and messing around with people, or flanking and covering your mate and stuff like that. That's what it's all about for me. But it's such a struggle now to do that in a game like DayZ. There's no way to like spawn next to your teammates or spawn on your squad mates, and that's something that really got to me as well. So, and of course the hacking, inverted commas, and the script kiddies and the cheating, it really is rife. And that's another problem. You can never be sure if the guys that you're playing against are legitimate. you just don't know. And there's so many times I've played DayZ and there's just a speed hacker just runs up to me and kills me, or someone teleports, or I get turned into a chicken, or get teleported and start dancing. It's probably the game that I've played the most where I've been fucked around with by cheaters, and it really just gets annoying and boring after a while. So, you know, that's one of the reasons that I stopped playing as well. But H1Z1 I think is something new, and I'm very interested to try it out. Not many people have actually played it outside of the people that are obviously making the game. I think there's a couple of streamers that have played it, like maybe Lyric, maybe Summit, Gold Glove I think has played it as well. Like they let them do like a little 2-hour stream on it, and I've watched a lot of the gameplay, and I feel like it's got potential. I really feel like it could be something special, and like I said at the start of the video, if you watch their stuff, it really seems like they're ticking all of the boxes. So like I said, I'm quietly optimistic, and I'm definitely looking forward to January the 15th to try this out with some friends. And I hope that the server queues aren't too bad and I don't have to wait 4 hours before I can get into a game. But yeah, there we go, zombie survival games. Do you guys still enjoy playing them? Oh, one other thing I wanted to say as well. It's the whole shoot on sight thing. Even in games like DayZ, although they added stuff like when you shoot someone, their equipment gets ruined. People just shoot on sight. It's just what they do. Like I do it, everyone does it, and it's very rare that you actually get someone that will speak to you on voice comms. Still, a lot of people play the game, and they just treat it like a team deathmatch, and that's fair enough. Like if they want to play the game that way and never speak to anyone and just play on their own and shoot everyone on sight, then okay, you know, they've paid for the game. They can play it like that. But I really feel like there needs to be more incentive to meet up with random people and converse and just have a bit of role play and a bit of fun, because that's what makes that style of game so interesting to me. It's that you can be someone else and you can play a role, but I don't have the solution to it. I don't know. I'm not a game designer, and I could probably sit here for 2 days and not come up with a good solution for it. But just some way that when you're playing a game like DayZ, like H1Z1, shooting on sight isn't always the best and easiest option. I think encouraging meeting up with random people and, you know, forging enemies and making friends and alliances with other clans on the server. Maybe you can decide to share a patch of land, for example, so you can defend it against bandits. Just stuff to encourage strangers meeting up and playing together, really, instead of just shooting on sight all the time. But again, that's just my opinion. Like, I like shooting people in DayZ. It's fun. But at the same time, I don't want to do it all the time. But you're sort of forced to, because if you don't shoot, then the other person's probably just going to shoot you. And that's the end of your character. You can't spawn on your friends. You can't get right back into the action. And that really takes away from the game. For me personally, sometimes, I know some people like that hardcore element of it. But for me, I just wish games like that weren't so shoot on sight. Put it that way. That's all for today, folks. I have actually rambled on for a considerable amount of time now, which is pretty usual for me. I do talk a lot, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, give me a thumbs up, and please let me know your thoughts in the comments below on zombie survival games. Do you think there's a big future ahead for them? Have you got high hopes for H1Z1? Have you got high hopes for DayZ? Do you think that the continued development of that game is going to improve and it's going to turn into something just as good as it used to be, for me anyway? Because the standalone game, I really don't enjoy it as much as I did with the mod. So hopefully we'll see. Maybe there'll be something brand new come out, like a brand new game out of nowhere. Maybe Valve are making their own zombie survival game and just call it Half-Life 3. Oh, that's a stupid idea. What am I talking about? Yeah, I think that's all I got for today, guys. Check out g2a.com/r/jackfrags if you want to get your hands on some cheap games. I've got an affiliate link there, and if you buy a game using my referral link, I'll get a little bit of money, and you get a game for cheaper than you could get it on Steam and Origin or whatever. And also you can use the code FRAGS for an additional discount. Cheers for watching, guys. I hope you had a great Monday, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the week. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.